Understanding organization structure. Click on the next arrow to continue. Every organization must have a well-defined organization structure if it wants to work efficiently and achieve its goals. In this unit we will look at the different types of organization structures and the advantages and disadvantages of each. While there are different approaches to the classification of organizational structures, the most common classification is into 4 categories of organization: functional organizations, matrix organizations, divisional organizations, and project organizations. We will look at each of these in turn, and then briefly at some other alternative types of organization structure. The functional structure is the most commonly used type of organization structure. In a functional organization structure, the organization is grouped into various departments, where people with similar skills are kept together in groups delivering specific functions, for example the sales department, the marketing department, the finance department, etc. Functional organizations are hierarchical. A functional organization structure is a hierarchical organization structure, wherein people are grouped according to their area of specialization. These people are supervised by a functional manager with expertise in the same field. The organizational chart for a functional organization structure typically shows the president, vice president, finance department, sales department, customer service department, administration department, etc. In a functional structure, each department will have its own department head, who will be responsible for the performance of the department. Typically, budget allocation, resource allocation, decision-making, etc. stays with the functional manager. Reporting lines and accountability in functional organizations typically resides in the functional hierarchy. There are a number of clear advantages with the functional organization structure. Firstly, employees are grouped by their knowledge and skills, which helps the organization channel these skills to optimize performance. Functional organizations can be efficient, as employees in the unit have clearly defined roles and authorities, resulting in smooth execution of the work. Additionally, the fixed roles and responsibilities in such organizations facilitates clear accountability for the work. In functional organizations, the hierarchy is very clear, and employees don't have to report to multiple supervisors. Each employee reports to his functional manager, which reduces the number of communication channels. Functional structures can also benefit employees. In functional organizations, employees feel secure, and therefore they perform well without fear. Since there is a sense of job security, employees tend to be loyal to the organization. Additionally, in such organizations, employees can normally see a clear career growth path. And within the department, cooperation and communication are typically good. There are, however, a number of disadvantages with the functional structure. Firstly, employees in such organizations may feel bored due to the monotonous, repetitive type of work. Such organizations can also suffer from the silo effect. In functional organizations, communication tends to flow through the departments to the department heads, to the senior management. Communication can be poorer between the departments, and this can hinder inter-department coordination. This can limit flexibility and the potential for innovation. Moreover, department heads may find themselves in competition, rather than in collaboration to solve organization problems. The functional structure tends to be rigid, making adaptation to changes difficult and slow. Due to a bureaucratic hierarchy, delays often happen in decision-making. When the organization becomes larger, functional areas can become difficult to manage due to their size. Each department may start behaving like a small company with its own facilities, culture and management style. These are all symptoms of the silo effect. The second common type of structure is the divisional structure. In a divisional structure, an organization is divided into various divisions, where people with diverse skills are kept together in the form of groups by a similar product, service or geographic location. In this type of organization, each division itself is capable of functioning independently. The divisions can be based on product, service or the geographical area: McDonald's USA, McDonald's Europe, McDonald's Asia Pacific and Middle East. The divisional structure or product structure consists of self-contained divisions. Here is an example from a company, which has both an engineering and a marine division. The marine division is structured around its operating regions, while the engineering division is structured around the main engineering products and service range offered by the company. According to zanebooks.com, the divisional structure in America is the second most common structure for organization today. Divisional structures tend to be self-contained, having their own finance departments, sales departments, human resource department, etc. They typically will also have clear profit and loss accountabilities, and may have a significant degree of fiscal independence. This enables the parent organization to pursue more strategic growth priorities and seek out funding to grow or indeed divest divisions depending on their circumstances. In a divisional structure, authority is delegated to divisional directors or vice presidents, enabling clear accountability and measurement of performance. This can result in managers performing better and higher employee morale. Another advantage of using divisional structure is that it is more efficient in responding to market changes, enabling investment and divestment where opportunities arise. When using divisional structures that are organized by either markets or geographic areas, they generally have similar functions. This allows the corporate center to focus on strategic decisions and build strategic leadership capability in the center. The disadvantages of the divisional structure is that it can support unhealthy rivalries among divisions. This type of structure may increase costs by requiring more qualified managers for each division. Also, there is usually an overemphasis on divisional, more than organizational goals. This can result in duplication of resources and efforts, such as staff services, facilities, and personnel. The third type of structure is the project organization. Project organizations view every job as a project. In project businesses, organizations arrange their activities into programs or portfolios, and implement them through the projects. Here, the project manager is in charge of his project, and he has full authority over it. Everyone in his team reports to him. The project organization structure is opposite to the functional organization structure. Administration, accounting, and human resource functions are provided centrally to support the project management activities. Project team members can be brought in on a contract basis, or might be permanent staff who are assigned to specific projects as they arise. In this example, you can see that there are centralized services which provide leadership and support for the projects, below which the project teams are set up with the resources and capabilities required to operate fairly autonomously. There are a number of advantages with the project structure. Since the team members directly report to the project manager, there is a clear line of authority. This reduces conflict and makes decision-making faster and more flexible. Due to a single authority, less time is consumed in communication, and response to stakeholders' concerns is normally faster. Typically, due to clear outcomes and planning, accountability is visible and everyone knows what they have to do to achieve the objectives. There are some disadvantages with the project organization structure. In projects, there is always a deadline and usually a tight schedule, which makes the work environment stressful. Also, if the organization has multiple projects, there can be poor communication among them, causing resources to be duplicated. Sometimes, the project team may have a sense of insecurity, because once the project is completed, they feel that they may lose their jobs. Therefore, they tend to be less loyal towards the organization. Finally, the cost of employees and equipment can be higher because you may be hiring skilled people and specialized equipment for a shorter period of time. The matrix organization structure is a hybrid of the functional organization structure and another organization structure, such as a project structure. In a matrix organization structure, you can see two command structures, vertical and horizontal. Here, an employee may be part of a functional group, but she may also work on a project. We can see an example of a matrix structure in the diagram here. The organization has 4 main operating or functional departments, and each project team employs members of the functional groups when required. In this structure, the authority of a functional manager flows vertically downwards, and the authority of the project manager flows sideways. Since these authorities flow downward and sideways, this structure is called the matrix organization structure. The matrix structure can enable an organization to respond quickly to new opportunities, and can enable it to serve the needs of specific customer groups more effectively. The matrix structure has the flexibility of relocating the organization's talent, where and when needed. The employees are considered to be shared resources among the projects and functional units. This type of structure is most suitable for organizations operating in a dynamic environment. However, the matrix structure does come with some risks. In a matrix organization structure, employees may report to many managers, and some from one functional department may report to one boss, while the rest report to a different boss. The functional manager may look after the functional part of the project. She may decide how to do the work, and may distribute the project work among her subordinates. The project manager will have day-to-day authority over the project, and the functional staff appointed to the projects will report to her for much of the project work, while reporting back to the functional manager on a periodic basis. To overcome these disadvantages, matrix organizations will typically promote close cooperation between the project manager and the functional manager. Ensure that senior executives, managers, supervisors and employees all recognize the importance of making the matrix work, and communicate this to their employees. Effective matrix organizations will also carefully and continually manage a balanced distribution of authority and power between the project manager and the functional manager. Fundamental to the success will be coherent definition and documentation of roles, responsibilities and reporting lines of employees who occupy dual positions in a functional unit and a project operation. Functional organizational structures are the most common, and are often associated with excessive bureaucracy. Divisional structures are common with large corporations and global businesses. Project organizations are common in IT, construction and the engineering industries. Matrix organizations are common in resources industries such as the oil and gas and mining industries, which require flexibility to locate staff between projects across diverse locations. There is no one perfect structure, but organizations need the right structure to support their business strategy. Here are just some of the many things that you can consider when thinking about the structure of your organization. Strategy. The organization design must support your strategy. If your organization intends to be innovative, then a hierarchical structure will not work. If, however, your strategy is based on low-cost, high-volume delivery, then a rigid structure with tight controls may be the best design. Size. The design must take into account the size of your organization. A small organization could be paralyzed by too much specialization. In larger organizations, on the other hand, there may be economies of scale that can be gained by maintaining functionally specialist departments and teams. A large organization has more complex decision-making needs, and some decision-making responsibilities are likely to be devolved or decentralized. You will also want to consider the environment. If the market environment you work in, customers, suppliers, regulators, etc., is unpredictable or volatile, then the organization needs to be flexible enough to react to this. And finally, controls. What level of control is right in your business? Some activities need special controls, such as patient services in hospitals, money handling in banks, and maintenance in air transport, whilst others are more efficient when there is a high degree of flexibility. These need to be taken into consideration when designing the organization. Having the right organization structure can bring immense benefits to any organization. Organizations which are expanding globally may seek to use a divisional structure, like McDonald's, to grow their business in new regions. Public sector and governmental organizations, which operate in fairly static environments, may work well with functional structures. However, military organizations often employ a matrix structure to enable them to respond effectively to challenges they encounter. So it is important to employ the right structure to enable your strategy. There are a number of activities to complete for this unit. Take the time to complete these in your manual. In this way, you will better learn from and retain the knowledge covered in this unit. Thank you for watching this lesson. We hope you have found it useful. Would you like to learn more? Visit our websites to view our range of courses on the principles of management.